Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
I was having problems getting in. I wouldn't put in that number of the 0, and it wouldn't let me in.
Oh no. Well, I know we were on waiting mode, and then finally got that in.
We're live.
Hello, Maria. Thank you. Are we ready to begin then as well? Or are we holding on a minute? Or
I believe we're ready.
We have a quorum.
that's fine. Just checking with Maria to make sure that you're all good to go and everything. Yeah. Cool. All right then. I will go ahead and call this meeting of the Transportation and Safety Commission to order. Roll call first.
Chair Nicole Moore,
Present.
Vice Chair Clarissa Tolentino,
She's having audio issues. She
Issues.
appeared in the chat.
Commissioner D. Aikman, Commissioner Francisco Arizon,
Here.
Commissioner Rudy Trujillo.
Present.
All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have a flag? Oh, thank you for always being so prepared. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to
To
the
the flag of the
of the
United
United
States of
States of
America,
America
and to the
and to
republic
the
for
republic
which it
for
stands,
which it stands,
one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
It's been a long week. Just saying that almost made me burst into tears. Well, next is the approval of the agenda. And actually, I would like to make an update to the agenda. I was really hoping that Sergeant Aguirre could be here tonight, but without Sergeant Aguirre, I don't really have any updates to the discussion of the unlicensed driver program that I'm hoping that we can eventually move forward on. So unless Manuel or Matthew or Maria had anything to add to that, I wanted to probably just table that.
I would like to let you know that we did upload some information on our website.
Okay, then hold on. We'll leave it on the agenda. We'll leave it on the agenda. Cool. Thanks. I kind of was hoping that Sergeant Aguirre would be here to talk about it too, but as we have info, let's keep it on the agenda then. All right, so then I strike that. I changed my mind. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as written.
All right, Commissioner Arizon motions to approve.
And I will second that.
All right, Commissioner Trujillo seconds.
Chair Moore,
Yes,
Vice Chair Tolentino,
we have a yes in the chat. I shall be her voice.
Commissioner Aikman, Commissioner Arizon,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Also, Commissioner Aikman wanted to let you know you're on mute too for the past couple yeses, but we saw your mouth move. So we saw it was a yes. Next up is public statements. Do we have any public statements?
Yes, we do.
We do. We have public statements. Yay.
Okay, it's from Kimberly Palacios. She's a clinic administrator at Northeast Valley Health Corporation. She starts with, good morning. Yes, if I can please request for additional safety precautions on the San Fernando Road and Lazard Street. A crosswalk, yellow paint, only no stop sign, no blinking lights was placed, but vehicles do not stop. Last Thursday, I had a frightening experience when walking across the street to my vehicle for lunchtime. I was using the crosswalk, yellow painted area, and a vehicle started turning towards me. I was in the middle of the crosswalk. Already and literally had to run back. I was close enough to reach out with my arm to the front hood of the SUV. My heart was racing because it was a near miss experience. I was literally almost hit by this vehicle. Several of my staff have had similar near miss experiences, and 3 of the staff actually have been hit. Not severely, but truly hit by vehicles that do not stop. Due to parking space issues, my staff need to use the parking space across the street from our health center, but it is very unsafe for them and myself to have to walk across this main road. It is a safety hazard. Vehicles do not slow down or stop So yes, I would greatly appreciate it if you can please add this item for the upcoming meeting. Thank you. And this is 1600 San Fernando Road, North East Valley Health Corporation.
I was just pulling up a picture of that right now to try to get a feel for where it is that she is talking about. Would somebody who knows the area, can I share my screen?
I know where they're talking about, if you don't mind, Commissioner.
Yeah. I'm hoping that somebody can show me which building it is.
Yeah, so it is directly located across the street from the car wash. And so that intersection there where their building is located and the car wash is all been repaved, and it I believe is freshly new paint and all that. But like the letter expressed, there is so much speeding leaving San Fernando and also coming into San Fernando, coming from Silmar. And if you'll pan over to the right.
So is this the healthcare building that she's
correct?
Yeah, okay.
That's it right there. And if you'll pan over to the right.
This way?
Yes. You're going to see, oh, back the other way. I'm sorry, back the other way.
Google only has so much control.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I understand. Yeah, keep going down. The car wash is the other car, the Mission Car Wash. Right here at that where you just put the finger thing at, that cross street right there, that's the street she's talking about.
So it would be right here?
Right there.
So that's
and there's, yeah, so right here as they cross that area, and I believe, yeah, right there. And I believe, I'm not sure if they're utilizing the parking space because it may have been blocked off now behind that other piece of the car wash there where the X is at, behind that building there. So typically they cross the street right at that intersection, and it should be marked with a freshly paved markings on that crosswalk.
It looks like there's a crosswalk right here. But
that's it.
That's the one she's saying is that crosswalk, but she's saying she just wants it more attention to it, like lights, right?
Yeah, it's, I'm by there all the time. And if you don't mind, just a quick comment is that the speed is excessive. So I hear what she's saying because it's really bad. When cars they just speed through there. That's all there's to it, I don't know what could be done other than blinking lights.
For the next meeting? We can't actually discuss it right now because we have to agendize it to discuss it, but.
Yeah, but that's the one.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure we understood exactly where, because I couldn't in my head picture the clinic. Thank you very much. Were there any other public comment?
No, that was the only one.
All right. Well, now I've lost my agenda. Hold on. I still can't. Is it approval of minutes next? Because my agenda is now missing from my screen.
Approval of minutes.
Thank you. Okay, so did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes from the October meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Any corrections?
Let's see. I didn't see any myself.
All right.
I'd like to motion that we approve the minutes from the previous meeting of October.
I'll second the motion.
All right, so it was motioned by Commissioner Trujillo and seconded by Commissioner Arizon that we approve the meeting minutes from October 7th, 2020.
Chair Moore?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tolentino? Commissioner Aikman?
Yes.
Commissioner Arizon?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
All right, the minutes from October 7th, 2020 are approved. And then moving on to the next item on our agenda, which I'm still missing. There it is. Thank you. Sorry, I have so many windows open on this tiny laptop. Next up would be the discussion of the unlicensed driver program that I was hoping we could work on improving in our city.
All right, so just to give you an update, we did have information posted on our website. It's a link to the DMV how to apply for a license page. People can start the application online. The application is available in various languages. The site also includes an FAQ section and a link to find the nearest location to your DMV field office.
Wonderful. I am so pleased with that. That's fantastic. I would like to go ahead and leave it on here for the next meeting, and I will connect with Sergeant Aguirre and Suki, or perhaps Lieutenant Hanchett could join us to discuss ways that we can connect with key community stakeholders to also improve some of our resources to increase confidence in testing, because I really would like to see people feeling confident in being able to go take that test too. So if we could just leave it on the agenda for next time as well, in hopes that we can see what we can do about some community awareness campaign. And I wanted to wait because he had spoken to me previously and said that he was working on setting one up at CCLA before the pandemic. So there's just got to be a way that we can still do this. Any other commissioner comments on that?
Yeah, I do have a question. So would that be open to not only community members, but would that also include, like, say, youngsters that attend school within the city, but don't actually live in the city area? You know, they would be able to apply for that also, or tap that resource?
Cool. Yeah, my hope was because not all of the drivers that are driving through our city are residents of the city, but it keeps all of us safe when we have licensed drivers in our city. So my hope was just that we could look at, community forum type things, not like a full-on class like driver's ed. I understand that those are expensive, but just, community forums about what the process is like, what the test is like, things like that. So maybe some test taking tips to alleviate some of the stress that surrounds the unknown. So I'm hoping we could offer something that would be very public.
Very good.
Yeah. Any other commissioner comments on that before we move on? Yes. One of the things that I had mentioned at the last meeting was that some of them were minors. There was one young man who was trying to be careful what I say, because I want to protect the privacy of a minor, but there was one young man who was very distraught at having been stopped at a checkpoint, and he was old enough to have a license but not yet an adult, and was so distraught that even though state law allows for if you are stopped at a checkpoint without a license, for you to call someone to come pick up the vehicle, so that there is no financial hardship that comes with the cost of getting a vehicle out of impound. And he was so distraught, he said, just impound it, please. Like, just let me go. And the officers were so kind. They were like, well, he lives in the city. Let's just go visit his parents. And his parents came and picked up the car, and it ended much better than I think it would have. But I know that it's a very stressful time for teenagers right now. And thinking about another test is probably the last thing on their minds, but some of them also might be dealing with a lot more responsibilities, needing to go pick up meals and things like that. So I'd like to see them, if they're feeling that they need to drive the family vehicle, that they, can get a license to do so. So hopefully we can find some way to do a Zoom forum and maybe get it streamed on YouTube or something like that. So, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next item, which is the parking study update. And there was supposed to be a meeting, I believe, on October 8th about that. Commissioner Aikman, did you want to update us on that?
Yes, I'm expecting to hear from someone from that meeting to give us a brief on it as to what went on in detail at the in the meeting, but I also took notes. And when I get that brief, I will make sure that everybody gets a copy of it. Matt, do you have a brief on that yet?
And received anything from the consultant yet, but as soon as I do, I can share that with you as well. I'm still waiting on that.
Oh, it was a really good meeting, and the residents that own homes are very active and have a lot of ideas. They are facing a quality of life situation because they try to get parking on their street or near their homes and they can't do it. And they are frustrated by that. I will be circulating the minutes of this meeting, and I was promised a copy of the minutes, and I will make those available to everybody when I get them. I'll go get them copied at my cost to make sure everybody has it.
Well,
some
I'm
discussion-
not sure Maria could just email them to all of us too.
She has the addresses probably, and I don't. That's a good idea. One more thing, Maria, for you to do. Some discussions were about the garages being used for living spaces with no consideration for the additional parking demands and spaces are not available for businesses. Discussion on all on-street parking was the thing that they wanted, all of the on-street parking, the residential parking. Also discussed were red painted curbs at the intersections of the corners, the corners of the intersections. People were renting rooms out of their single family dwellings, causing high density parking with no planning for the additional parking. Tim Ho talked about how the state of California takes away a lot of our local control on these issues. Jardy really likes permit parking. Everybody seemed to be really in favor of that. They talked about the cost of getting a parking sticker. And like I said, when I receive the minutes, I will share them all with you. So there will be probably another additional update. I'll try to track it down and see if I can find out where they are now. And that's all.
When you say a sticker, you mean something like what they have in West Hollywood that designates you a resident?
Exactly.
Just asking for clarification.
Exactly. West Hollywood was used as an example.
Do we have an update on what the next phase of this project, this study is?
They were talking about dates, but they didn't tell me what the dates were for. They were talking about summer of 2021 for a scheduled winter of 2021, spring and fall of 2021.
Because the firm is going to make, that's when they're going to make their recommendations to us, or?
Yes, that was not really too clear. I was writing like crazy because I had no other way of taking everything down. So they really didn't discuss that. They just said that these would be follow-ups or times that they would be trying to make some decisions about this. This is a hard problem to solve. This is really a difficult problem. It's like an onion. You peel back one layer at a time and there's another problem with it. It's not going to be an easy solution. We don't have a lot of space in our city left. I was kind of thinking that maybe on some of the parking lots that we do have, that maybe we could go to two-level parking, but I don't know if that would really serve the residents or be pretty good for businesses, I imagine, like they have down at Bank of America to add parking. And also to once again encourage landlords who are renting out apartments and things to not let the garages be used for storage instead of parking. So that would be additional things that our city would have to follow up on. Because the landlords are, matter of fact, even some of the landlords for the apartment buildings are using the garages that are supposed to be for tenants, are using them for their own storage. So it's a difficult problem. It's going to take some work.
Does anyone know if, because the city that I thought about when you brought up those parking permits, the city that I thought about was West Hollywood. I was looking it up right now, trying to find it, but I can't find it. I was trying to figure out, do they pay for their permits, or do they like get a certain number of permits per like square?
I think they pay for them. I think that's what my impression was, because they were discussing what the cost would be per parking permit.
Got it. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, but then it's like, so that would be because you could, if you park in your, okay, yeah, I see. Because in some ways it's like, well, to pay for public street parking, but if you also have a driveway and a garage, I could see then paying for the additional would make sense. And if they could pass that on to a tenant. Yeah, it is a difficult problem. So I would be interested to see what the firm recommends based on their experiences with other cities and whatnot.
What city is dealing with the way it was built up in the good old days? They put huge structures in the middle of residential homes, large churches with their parking, and I think on Brand, not too far from my house. So far, knock on wood, my street doesn't have this problem yet, but people are starting to build granny flats to their homes. And so I imagine this is going to be a growing problem also.
I think it's also, you know, we have to also recognize that we are facing a housing crisis in the state of California, and that we want, you know, when I hear people talk at city council meetings, they often talk about wanting all sorts of wonderful businesses and big box stores and things like that here, and people who can spend money here bring those here, and that brings tax dollars to our city. So we have to, I'm sure there are ways to solve our problems, as you said, you know, emptying garages so they can be used as storage. Where I live in the city of San Fernando, we have an HOA, and that is a policy. We are not allowed to use our garage for storage. So I could see, you know, that it will be interesting to see what the parking firm recommends, and I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough problem to solve. We're out of room. You know, we're out of space. Space is getting to be, and people want even more buildings for people to live in, like apartments. And I don't know where we're going to put all the cars.
Well, hopefully maybe we can get rid of some of those cars and people will take public transportation once the pandemic is over and we get our beautiful light rail extension all the way out here. And looking to the future, hopefully we can look for a brighter future rather than just trying to deal with the basic problems of the cars of today.
I'm not in favor of gloom and doom. It's just that I sometimes go through the city and I wonder where we can put things. Along Grand Boulevard, which is close to me, is just jammed with parking by 5 o'clock at night. So we're going to see. I'll hang in there and I'll go to each meeting I'm invited to, and I'll come back to you with everything I get.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any other comments on that before we move on?
Yeah, I would like to confirm that the city of West Hollywood does have a fee for their parking permits.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to figure out if I was typing in how many permits does each resident get. I was like, maybe they get none. I guess
Well,
that,
to run the program, you would need to get fees.
yeah, I was thinking though, because I was thinking about West Hollywood, thinking about some of those apartments have no parking. But the areas that we're talking about here, they do have some. Vice Chair Tolentino, is your microphone still not working, or do you want to just, okay, so Vice Chair Tolentino says that I know there are some areas near the businesses where there are empty lots, so maybe we can use that when businesses are not in operation. So perhaps, yeah, that is definitely something that I think that, you know, we could see as we move towards various forms of mixed use. I think we also have to look at creative parking, such as the way that they do in the city of Berkeley. In the city of Berkeley, there are some parking structures that residents can buy permits to. And then if you are not a resident and you are just using it while you're, you know, in the area, they charge, and they actually charge quite a lot. I think it's like $6 an hour in the city of Berkeley, but it's Berkeley. So hopefully we can come up with some solutions.
There's a cost for running this program, so we would need the fees generated by selling the parking.
You're very far from the microphone, so it's hard to hear you.
Sorry. My voice is almost gone too. It would have to be fees. We would, program is not going to run by itself. There's enforcement, and there's printing and clerical and all kinds of things to keep up to date on it.
Right.
So I will update you, and hopefully I'll get the minutes of this meeting, which will be even more detailed.
All right, so with, it seems like that's about it. So let's go ahead and move on to the next item then, which is commission communication. Oh, let me go back to, sorry, Vice Chair Tolentino says, hopefully there can be a way for residents not to be charged, at least not for residents, because I know a lot of people won't be able to afford them. Yeah, I think that we would need to look at what the situation is for each resident. And I think we would hopefully see our city council make some reasonable recommendations on that one. Like that, you know, if a residence already has ample parking and a driveway and park and garage, then that's, you know, then maybe they would have to pay. So perhaps looking at square footage or things like that for people who live in multifamily dwellings without parking, that or with very limited parking, perhaps it could be on like a sliding scale based on income or something like that would be another perhaps more reasonable thing for our city. So, but there's not much we can do until we see what they're recommending and what our city council is looking at. So we will just have to kind of wait that one out now.
This will be an ongoing update, but I will attend the meetings and I will get back to you on everything.
Thank you so much.
And
And
it's
then
a total of 4 decals that West Hollywood offers to the residents.
Also for residents?
In West Hollywood, it's a total of 4 decals that they offer.
And they charge residents for the parking permits, right?
That is correct.
so, and there's 4 different kinds depending on whether they live in like multifamily or.
Yeah, there's different tiers from what I see on their website, but I'll have to do more research on that.
Okay, so let's keep this, let's discuss this in December too. And we'll look at it and then perhaps we can write a motion of what we hope that the parking study group does. From our opinion as well.
Let's chill out.
All right, commission communication, Commissioner Arizon.
None at this moment.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yeah, thank you. Dee, thank you for the report. Appreciate your diligence and your commitment, your zeal. Thank you so much for that. You know, I lived in San Francisco throughout the 80s, 1980, 1990. And from the very first day we set foot in the Bay Area, we realized that parking issues have existed a long time in that condensed populated area. And as a matter of fact, you would have to pay extra to get the parking garage. Very limited, but one of the things that they incorporated, and I think as mentioned about Berkeley, one of the things that San Francisco incorporated is on certain days where they have a lot of commerce, Sundays, weekends, they actually allow they park cars in the center of the streets. As crazy as it sounds, but they park cars in the center of the streets, on streets such as Dolores or Valencia. Dolores, if you get up around Dolores Park, there's parking everywhere, but they got really creative, but that's just like way out there, overpopulated, too many cars, etc. But anyways, thank you so much for that. And my comment is thank you for your work on that, and also prayer for peace, no matter what the outcome is of the elections tonight. That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And if any of you have any suggestions or ideas or comments you want me to present, just email me. I'd be happy to put it on the agenda for the next meeting we have on the parking.
Thank you.
Commissioner Aikman, it's your turn too. Any other communications?
Do I have any other communications? I was wondering, I go to Simi Valley a lot because my family lives out there now. And I noticed that around the red lights and the parking signs, they're putting a yellow framework. Have you seen them? And it really lights up. It really makes the signs really visible. And I was wondering if this is ever going to happen to our city. Not that anybody pays attention to them, but it'd be nice to have them. And they're pretty.
I'd be curious
Hello.
to know the cost. Yeah, I also have family in Simi Valley, so I spend a lot of time there as well. So we can perhaps do some research and add that to a future agenda item as a discussion.
Notice the mountain, Simi? Next time you go out, look at the street sign, the red lights, green lights, they're all framed in yellow. It really makes them outstanding. Maybe then people won't run the red lights around here. That would be good.
It'd be interesting to see the research on that as well.
Yeah.
See if it's worth it.
Anything to cut down on it.
Vice Chair Tolentino? Not at the moment. My only comments for today, I just want to say that I am hoping that regardless of the outcome of the election, as they play the city council carousel, I hope that I continue to get to work with each and every one of you because I have enjoyed it very much. And I look forward to future months and meetings and hope it is with all of you, and that let's also, yes, hopes for peace. And I also really appreciate how well elections went in our city. I heard many positive comments about the various polling places that were in person in our city. And I'm very grateful that our city does such a good job of managing traffic and flow and all of that during this pandemic, especially. I appreciate that all very much. Our
Love
staff
our commission. I love our commission. We have a great commission.
staff communication. We have the best staff for sure.
Our staff is amazing.
All right, I'm glad to report that the paving of Glen Oaks Boulevard was completed this past weekend. There are still some work to be done on the street, which includes the installation of the medians at various locations, the installation of electrical cabinets, traffic loops, and striping. We expect the project to be completed by the end of the year. That's all I have.
It was so beautiful when we pulled out onto the street on Saturday morning. Woo!
Good job, Nana.
So excited. Are we going to have the medians in front of Wells Fargo?
Yes.
Yay. Soon the fake little gluey tabs will be gone and we will have real stripes again.
It'd be nice to have them, especially in rainy weather, and those things get faded out. And when it's raining really hard, it's hard to tell what lane you're in. You have to sort of follow the car in front of you.
Sounds like it'll be done before the rainy season. So yay, huzzah. All right, next.
Yes, I just had one quick update for the commission on the Safe and Active Streets project. We have gone out to bid for a transportation engineering firm that would be helping us do all of the all the walkability and biking studies through the city. So that's going to be out for the next month, and it'll probably take another month or so after that to review, go back to council in January to award a contract. So, but we are moving forward on the next step. Once that consultant's in place, we'll start working on through our consultant on the outreach and everything. And I believe our consultants probably reached out to you, Chair Moore, or Commissioner Aikman. I'm not sure if they did. I think they did speak to at least one of you, if not both of you.
Spoke in October, but I haven't heard about the engineer that we are searching.
Yeah. So we are, like I said, we'll be getting those bids in from engineers in the next month during November, reviewing those in December, and then going to our council to award contracts in January. So we will be moving forward on that project.
Cool. Confidence in walkable streets seems like it would actually solve a multitude of problems. I was thinking about that when Commissioner Trujillo was mentioning San Francisco, and I was thinking that when we lived in Berkeley, we never took a car to San Francisco because we knew better. We would just walk. So I am thinking that hopefully our safe and walkable streets of the future will bring us a big, bright, beautiful green tomorrow. Maria, anything? All right, then. Anyone want to make the motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and second that.
Looks like Vice Chair Tolentino beat you to it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Wow, she's fast. Her fingers are fast.
It's all that online education we've all been doing.
Big time.
All right, so Commissioner Arizon motions to adjourn the meeting and Vice Chair Tolentino seconds.
Chair Moore,
Yes,
Vice Chair Tolentino,
she says yes.
Commissioner Aikman,
Yes.
Commissioner Arizon,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
And with that, this meeting of the Transportation and Safety Commission is adjourned at 7:40 p.m. Thank you all and have a wonderful month. And I will see you at the beginning of December. And by then,
All
we
right.
should know so much more.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a wonderful
night.
Bye.
Happy
safe.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that is true. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Bye.